It's almost a guarantee if you play a game, you're gonna beat it today. And there's a reason for that.
Video games, video games. Video games, video games. Yes.
So I saw this article today and I thought this was really interesting and would make a good conversation. And this was on Polygon. Death Stranding 2 lets players skip boss fights. This was written by Ian Walker. So they're talking about Death Stranding 2 on the beach, which has not come out yet. I didn't know this, but Hideo Kojima has a weekly radio show. So this says, speaking on his weekly KOJI 10 radio show, Hideo Kojima detailed a Death Stranding 2 on the beach feature that will allow players to clear boss battles after an unidentified number of game overs rather than continue to struggle with a frustrating fight. A continue option on the Death Stranding 2 game over screen, according to translations by ex-user Genki Japan, will skip boss battles entirely. Players who take advantage of this feature will instead watch the fight play out through a series of images with novel-like text descriptions. Kojima reportedly said this is meant to help folks who aren't as skilled at action games as the average player. So according to this, if you die to a boss a certain amount of times, it's not specified yet, if you die to a boss a certain amount of times, you will get an option to just skip it, watch images of the boss being beat, and move on with the story. Even from skipping levels in Super Mario and NES, you never felt good about skipping stuff. I personally don't skip boss fights, but if I don't enjoy it or die too much, I get skipping it. Well, how would you skip them now? You really can't, can you? Shaking your head, skill issue. I don't skip it, I just launch controllers. Well, don't do that, because then you have to buy a new controller. Kojima's literally saying you guys suck. If they have to do that, that should just be a mode. And that's one thing I wanted to talk about. Final Fantasy 16 has 3 accessories. You equip your characters like in normal RPGs with accessories, but there's 3 you get when you start the game. And if you wear all 3 of these, all you have to do is hit one button the entire time and you never take damage and it auto battles for you and the game plays for you. So there's already features like this in some games. So now we get into like, all right, is this something that they should have? Is this something that, oh no, like this takes the fun out of video games? I want to know what you guys think. I'll give you, I kind of see both sides of this. That's why Minecraft has creative mode. If you want to play baby mode, then play baby mode. Is that really gaming? Final Fantasy 15's easy mode pretty much means you don't die. Yeah, a lot of games have story mode. I mean, that's pretty similar, right? I mean, you really don't die in those things. You don't want it. So I was thinking about this because I don't know. I didn't make it far enough in Death Stranding 1 to even get to a boss. I was like almost fell asleep. I streamed that. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was boring as shit. But I know a lot of people liked it. So I don't know if the bosses were hard in that. I have no idea. But one thing I was thinking about is there's one game that I love. But the boss fight, when you get to the boss fights, it's almost like you're playing a completely different game. And they're not fun at all. I mean, it seriously feels like another game. And it's this one, Deus Ex Human Revolution. This game, like the regular gameplay of this game is amazing. The boss fights, it's like I'm playing a different game. And there's a reason for that. They outsourced the boss fights to a different studio. All the boss fights in that game were created by a different studio than the rest of the main game. So that's why they feel so much different. Like, so if I played that game again, I honestly would like to skip the boss fights. So that might be something like in a repeated second playthrough or something. That's like a one example thing I'm thinking of. But that's what made me think, you know, when I saw this, I thought of that. I'd rather Google tips on how to beat the boss and die a lot before beating them before I skip it. Video games have to have a boss fight, it'll just be boring. Take the challenge out of it. Are you living the game's life D&D style? I mean, what's the point? Why did you make a challenging game if people can skip the challenge? A lot of the fun is finally beating the tough boss. So let's go back in time. To a time when many of you might not have been born. When Jeff was a little kid. When beating a video game was a rare occasion. You would play games over and over and over and never beat them. If you did beat a game at all, it was like one of the greatest accomplishments in life. Remember, you're a kid at this time. I remember for me, it was Legend of Zelda. Contra doesn't count because you had to use the 30 lives code. Other than Contra, Legend of Zelda was the first game I ever beat. And oh my God, it felt good. Do you really get those feelings anymore beating video games? It's almost a guarantee if you play a game, you're gonna beat it today. And there's a reason for that. When companies want to sell sequels to games, if you didn't finish the first one and you don't know the story and you don't know the cliffhanger, why would you want to buy the second one? So to sell the second game, they need you to beat the first game. Games aren't going to be too difficult to beat because it's a business tactic. Now, there are exceptions. Beating older games was actually an award, yes. Beating Contra was dope. Beating Tyson was dope. Beating Bad Dudes was dope. Think about beating Mike Tyson and Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. How much of an accomplishment is that, right? Feels like this new thing is just like everyone's a winner. I'm trying to think. When have I felt like, holy, I really accomplished something when I beat a video game? 3 times in recent memory. All 3 of those in some form have happened on stream in the past year. And that was beating Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on hard mode, beating Final Fantasy VII Remake on hard mode, and what you guys saw me do with Elden Ring. I'm not going to spoil that. Go watch my Elden Ring video if you haven't seen it. I felt like I accomplished something. Now, when I beat Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the first playthrough, I didn't feel like I accomplished, like, holy shit, I did it. Because a lot of games on normal mode these days, you're expecting yourself to beat it. But when I beat it on hard mode, something that I didn't know that if I was going to be able to do, I felt something. I felt like an accomplishment. I don't feel like you really get that with games anymore. Obviously, games like Dark Souls and things of that nature, yes, there are exceptions to the rule, but generally, you are expected to beat a game when you sit down to play it. That part of gaming, the accomplishment, mostly happens these days in multiplayer situations. Beating other people, not really in a single player mode. The game is challenging and hard to beat, but it's good enough a sequel will sell. They did in the old days, right? They did in the old days. I never beat Ninja Gaiden 1, but I played Ninja Gaiden 2, but there was also less story that you needed to know in the old days. Now beat Kingdom Hearts 3 on level 1 critical mode. Yeah, I don't have to see that ever happening. That was a journey with both FF7 Remake and Rebirth. You were so happy? I was. How many people see it through? People give up? Yep. Now we're going to have, of course, I don't know if this is going to be a new trend, if other games are going to follow through with what Death Stranding 2 here is doing, but we now have a path of least resistance. How many times do they just say, F it, I want to move on, and they just skip the boss because they can? Will people, I guess, their skills not grow? Now, a lot of people don't play video games for that. We all play them for different reasons. You know, I don't play games to show off skill or to get better in general. Like, okay, Fatal Fury, sure, we want to learn how to play that. We want to get better. That's a fighting game. I'm not playing Metroid Prime 3 right now to show you how good at Metroid I am. When I played Rebirth on hard mode, I wanted to see if I could do it. So it's like different situations. But what we have to go with here, does it really matter to us? If we would never skip the boss, why should we care if somebody else can do it? And that's what I've been trying to think of, because, you know, a lot of times you see it all the time. You shouldn't have used a summon on that boss. You know, a real player wouldn't have used a summon on that, would have beat it without a summon. People like to do that stuff all the time. You're not a real player unless you do it this way. But does it really matter? If anybody actually played Final Fantasy 16 on one button where you can't get damage mode, does that affect me in one bit? Does that affect how I played the game? Does it affect us? So should we, like, just be like, oh, this is a terrible trend for gaming, when we don't, like, it doesn't affect us in the least? For people that aren't very good at video games, that play them for fun, and some of these games are very intimidating because they want to experience it, but they can't because they're just not very good. Is it wrong to deny these people a way to get through the game? If I beat Death Stranding 2 without skipping a boss, and you skip a boss, you skip every boss, and then make it to the end of the game, what do I get out of life because I beat all the bosses and you didn't? Nothing. It does nothing for nobody. If it's not something that's going to affect us, but it will allow more people to enjoy the game, isn't that the point? Shouldn't people enjoy playing video games in any way that they can? Whatever allows them to enjoy the game, shouldn't they be allowed to do it? So if I'm enjoying a game by beating it normally, dying a million times on a boss, finally getting through it, experiencing the story, and I beat the game. If that's how I want to play the game, fine. If somebody else that is not very good at video games wants to get through the game and now they have an option to do so, should that bother us? It's the principle of it. It's basically a participation trophy. You always play cheat codes, unlimited health, unlimited ammo, all weapons. I mean, I put in the Contra code to this day when I play Contra. Is that any different? Is that any different? You're not losing any sleep over it? This is not a real competition, the way I'm looking at it. I don't get anything if I beat a game. I don't get a real trophy. I don't get a first place trophy. Who cares? That I think that's my opinion of it. If they have a way to now enjoy games, let people enjoy the games. And if they want to skip boss fights, who gives a shit? That's just my opinion. It doesn't affect me in the least. One thing where this may be a positive for us is if this becomes an option in a lot of games, maybe games won't be designed so easy anymore. Because even back in 2007 when Metroid Prime 3 came out, and I'm referencing that because I'm playing this right now for those that are unaware, I can tell the difficulty is a little bit higher than games we're currently playing. So even in the Wii era, games were harder, in my opinion, than they are now. Obviously not counting the exceptions, Souls games and games of the like. Now, Final Fantasy 16 had very hard boss fights, and it also had a mode that you could easily get through it. That's what I'm saying. This could be a positive for some of us that want more challenging normal modes. Because the option is there for people to skip it, developers can not be afraid to make games a little more challenging and hope that, that we definitely finish the game and that we wouldn't quit because it's too hard. Because those people can now skip. So maybe for the rest of us that want a little more challenge, maybe we'll get that now. This could be a positive for everybody. Why buy the game then? Why not just watch the story on YouTube if you're skipping key gameplay anyways? Well, maybe it's because they like just going through the normal parts of the game, or they like to hit the buttons. I don't know. Like, it's trying to like get into the mind of people that would do that, which I can't because I've never felt that way. I guess if you ever played a narrative game, like a visual novel, a walking simulator where you really don't do anything, I have. And I've done that myself. I never thought, oh, I'm not going to play this. I'm going to go watch somebody on YouTube play it. So it might be similar to that. I want to beat a boss in game because it's a good way to end a level mission. Yeah, it is. I think it would be for just to get the story. And there's some people that just want the story. It's their money. They bought the game. Why do I care how they play it? Seems odd to commit so much time and effort to play a game to reach the boss, then skip it. Well, I think also the philosophy is, I spent so much time and effort in this game. I played this game for 30 hours, and I'm not going to be able to finish the game because I can't beat this boss. So at that point, it seems like they wasted a lot of time and effort if they shut the game off at that point and they can't finish it because they can't beat the boss. So that could go both ways. The temptation would be to advance to the better levels. Yeah, but some people can't. I guess if they have it easy, normal, and hard, then I don't see the problem. I mean, that's basically it, right? What's another one? They even go higher than hard now. Nightmare modes. So like if you can skip a boss, if it keeps them playing the game where they would have quit, I don't know. I don't see a problem with that. Let people enjoy video games the way that they want to enjoy them. We can still play the game any way we want. We're not being forced to skip any bosses. If it gets people to continue to play video games, I don't have a problem with it, man. I don't.